Nintendogs was released April 21st, 2005 to Nintendo DS, and it was popular. The original game was released in 3 separate versions: Dash Hound with Friends, Chihuahua with Friends, and Lab with Friends, which was Chiba with Friends in Japan. The games would later be re-released alongside a special edition DS, with the new versions being Nintendogs Best Friends and Dalmatians and Friends. Each version of the game determined what dog breeds were available for you in your respective game, and that marketing strategy worked. The original Nintendogs throughout all of its versions sold over 23.96 million copies, making it the second highest grossing game on the Nintendo DS, falling only short to New Super Mario Bros. And that's saying a lot looking at the DS's competition. You remember the Wizards of Waverly Place game, right? Nintendogs' success led to a handful of merchandise, including trading cards. As far as I can tell, they didn't do anything other than look pretty, but imagine how good of a marketing strategy it would be to have these cards that you can scan to have digital animals in your game. Oh wait, a sequel entitled Nintendogs Plus Cats was later released on the 3DS in 2011. That game sucked. I don't know, I never played it, but there was never a Nintendogs after that, so take that for what you will. Also, something I think is really weird is on your 3DS you can scan these things called AR cards, and with your Nintendogs, your dog would appear on the card wearing whatever hat, depending on the card you scanned. It's not important at all, but I just thought I should share these. It's about time that we return to Nintendogs. I myself own the Chihuahua and the Dalmatian version. If you're anything like me, you too have been neglecting your digital pets for at least a decade. That's right. Somewhere in your basement is an old dusty cartridge of Nintendogs, and they're famished and parched, and you once loved them. But I'm not ready to face that, so I'll be using an emulator. I'm gonna say right now, this game brings back a lot of nostalgia, so I'm gonna try my very best to remain impartial, but seeing as there's no endgame in sight, I'm gonna set 3 goals. For my first goal, I'd like to get 3 Nintendogs. Now we're given one at the very beginning of the game, but in order to get the other 2, we need to force that one to compete in competitions for prize money, which leads me to my second goal. I want to beat one of the competitions at the championship tier, which is the highest one, and we will talk about that later. My final goal is to not get attached. So when this is all said and done, I'm a mice and men in these digital pets. Can't bring myself to be an absentee parent. As always, we start the game off by choosing our first pet, and I know the perfect handsome boy to name him after. But something doesn't quite match here, so we're gonna go with Sky instead. This brings us to possibly the hardest part of the game, talking to our dog.
Sky. Oh no.
Now I knew going into this, using an emulator, the microphone was messed up. I didn't know it just didn't work. I realized an hour in and it was not fun. At a certain point, I started to get flashbacks to when I got my Nintendogs from GameStop and the game was jailbroken, unlocking all the dog breeds, which was all my little mind ever needed in life. But the problem was, no matter how many times I yelled Daisy at my DS, the mic didn't work. So I cried and I reset my game. But this time we got it to work and we can finally move on.
Okay. Sounds good. I need to do more?
Now, maybe I'm just being impatient, but why did this take so long? I had to repeat the same thing 10 times over, constantly switching the audio files, and it just sucked. And hopefully I don't need to do this anymore. The good news is I still feel no attachment to my animals whatsoever, so we're on our way to our goals. Time to go for a walk. The walking feature has always been one of my favorites, and I still constantly find myself erasing my entire route just to reach one more of the question marks. I mean, they don't give anything good, but at least I got a stick and tissues now. When I was messing around, I found out that you could just fully drag your dog around on the walk, and I thought it was bad pulling him to go forward, but when I accidentally missed a present and I tried to go back, I fully just flipped Sky over on her back, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that at all. The more walks you go on, the further your dog can walk, and once this meter has enough space, you can go to different places on the map, like the discount store. Although there's really no point to, everything's dirt cheap anyway. There's also a gym and 2 parks you can go to, but we'll visit those later. At this point, I was looking into our options for earning cash, which meant doing competitions. And right now, the only thing we can do is the disc competition, or as normal people call it, Frisbee. So I signed us up and...
Yeah, I mean, we've never trained before, but really, how hard can it be, right? I might be throwing it a bit too hard. Oh, damn, she sucks. I don't think that was too bad. Okay, let me do 2 more. Okay, that was an embarrassing defeat. That did not go well at all.
To be fair, I hadn't played this game in a long time and I was not ready, but I signed us up for another competition immediately after and we dominated, so I'm pretty sure that's a good sign for the future. After earning enough money and realizing that there's pet labor laws, I decided it was time to get a new workhorse. A Shiba named Pasha, after a dog from work who cries all the time, 24/7. Pretty much, I thought I would like this dog and it would help me like the real Pasha more. I was wrong. To be fair, that is partially my fault. When it came to naming Pasha, I kind of just used my sit audio clip for her name, and now she gets confused over everything. That's my bad. But I do have a favorite dog, and it's the one that doesn't let me down. Anyway, I went on another walk with Sky, and this time we went to the gym. You need to go here to practice the obstacle course before you can enter that style of competition, so we gave it an effort. And then I decided to take Pasha out, where I found out that you could bump into dogs and their owners, which led Chuck to give me some well-intentioned advice, telling me to read a training book for my dog. Meanwhile, his was humping mine the entire time. So I'm Chuck, maybe shut your mouth. It was then time for me to try the last of the 3 competitions to see which one I was going to try to get the championship tier in. I can tell you which one it's not. So after 2 competitions and lots of failed obstacles, it was decided that the disc game was my only hope. So we headed to the park to try to practice, where we bumped into a dog named Angel that put Sky to shame.
Sky, you gotta step it up. So I think we're just learning that my dog sucks at this point. Oh! Yeah, she's not even bringing it back. This is just... Yeah, this dog is just trained so much better. Oh, jeez.
Then on the way back, I missed picking up some poop and, oh look, we bumped into Chuck, and he called me an ingrate.
It was towards the left side of the screen. I didn't have time. Oh my god. We can't be friends with Cole. I'm sorry.
Needless to say, Chuck. No, I haven't read the manual. Now, I don't know if Chuck put a curse on me, but when it came time to even reach the championship tier competition, I couldn't do it. Let me put this into perspective. There are 5 tiers. Beginner, Open, Expert, Master, and then finally, Championship. Each level has a point system that changes each competition, and there's a range of 5 in order to move on. And that scales along with the 5 points that you need in order to get first place. For instance, in Open, you'll need to beat somewhere between 10 and 15 points in order to advance to Expert tier, but 15 to 20 points in order to place first. This all needs to be done within a 60-second time period that does not change with the level. And even though that might not sound that bad, every time you lose, you get demoted to the previous tier. It was not fun. I won and lost 12 competitions in order to reach championship tier. And that was while I was date skipping, because you can only do 3 competitions a day. At this point, I saved before the competition. You can be upset with me, you can say it's cheating, but there was no point in me constantly date skipping and demoting tiers. It was just not worth my time. But then, in our first championship competition, we got smoked 107 times. Some were close, others did not stand a chance, but one thing was sure, I kept my head held high.
How the fuck?
I didn't falter for a single moment.
I don't even have any commentary anymore.
Who cared that we weren't getting top 3?
I'm going to commit so many fucking crimes.
What did it matter that we weren't getting more than 36 points? That's irrelevant. I spent 4.5 hours playing those competitions. And then I got second, but Mama didn't raise no quitter, so I played for another half hour until... Oh my god. We did it, baby. I'm finally free. I can finally go outside. I've been looking at the same digital discs and dogs for days. I don't even know what the outside world looks like anymore. Now, there's only one thing left to do. Get the dog that we wanted from the very start.
Well, this is unfortunate.
But that didn't work out. So more fittingly, here's my dog Dixie, who I struggled to name again before we went on our final walk to leave Chuck a treat to remember us by. So that was Nintendogs. I enjoyed going back and revisiting the game despite the painstaking challenge I set. It's still a cute little game. It has its charm. And I highly recommend that if you do go back that you don't use an emulator. It's just not worth your time. Thank me later. Obviously that hindered my gameplay a little bit, but even if that wasn't an issue, there's really just not that much to do. If you enjoy showing up every day, doing a few little daily tasks, and then setting the game down, and Nintendogs does just that. Now that we're finished with the game, it looks like I accomplished all my goals, and that means it's time to send the dogs to the farm.